Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. This is going to be a follow-up video to yesterday's live stream, which was on the Black TikTok strike and also stealing content and paying creatives. So we were doing some chatting about this on Instagram. It's actually been 6 days already of this TikTok strike. I posted about this on Instagram last week, and a couple people asked me, like, was it legit? The mainstream media wasn't really picking up on this story just yet, but now that it's been almost a week of a lot of the prominent Black TikTokers being on strike and not creating dances for new songs that are coming out, Megan Thee Stallion Stop Shit is like the main song that people are talking about, like there not being any dances for right now. The mainstream media has been picking up on this story a lot more. I will include some really good links in the description box, like I always do, because I'm not a thief. I don't steal people's work for you guys to check out. But there's a few things that I wanted to talk about, things that sort of came up during yesterday's live stream that I wanted to do sort of just a follow-up video on. And also some of the conversations that we've been having on Instagram that I wanted to talk about. So I was talking to Paul. Shout outs to Paul. We filmed in Pittsburgh for the Black Americans. Obviously, I'll include a link to that in the description box as well. But so I posted on Instagram a link from NPR where they were talking about this. And something that the very last statement was a white TikToker saying, like, they can't wait for the strike to be over because something like, when are the Black creators finishing their strike? This app isn't fun anymore, right? And Paul said that last statement, this app isn't fun anymore, really boils down to what white folks think we serve them for. If it's not labor, it's creative content and expression that they bleach of authenticity, then sell for marketing dollars. Black folks always just create ways and worlds from nothing. Like, social media has made it all the more simple to just copy and market someone's creation with no accountability, which a lot of you guys know I also said in my live stream yesterday. I said that we've always, since the beginning of the United States, we've always had an issue with theft. We've always had an issue with the thievery of Black American culture, and not just from white people. Bruno Mars is a prime example of a non-white person that is a fucking thief, okay? I don't care if that's y'all fave. I don't give a fuck if that's y'all fave. Prime example. From the beginning of time in the United States, we've had an issue with cultural appropriation and thievery of Black American culture from whites, non-Black persons of color, foreign Blacks, and we've always had this issue with this free-for-all with our culture. I do feel like social media has really opened up the access, which I also said in yesterday's live stream, and which I've also done previous videos for on accessibility, which I will include links to in the description box. But with social media, we've really had this issue with the opening up of access, and especially with Generation Z, which is honestly the first generation to be growing up on the internet. And Generation Z has a thievery problem. I know everybody hates hearing that because everybody loves to say, like, well, it's been a problem. It's been a problem. It's been a problem since before Generation Z. I'm not saying that Generation Z, like, invented thievery and cultural appropriation, but they are the first generation to grow up on the internet and to grow up, like, from the time they are little kids, to grow up on social media and having access to Black American culture just completely removed and stripped literally from any context whatsoever. And I also feel like, and a lot of the questions that you guys were asking during yesterday's live stream was sort of like, how do we deal with this moving forward? Something I said in yesterday's video, I was like, back in the day, if you wanted to hire, if you wanted Fatima Robinson choreography, you had to hire Fatima Robinson. Like, you could have somebody rip off her work, but that was frowned upon and everybody knew because she had like a really distinctive way of dancing. But now you have TikTok and you have YouTube, you have social media, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, where people can just screen recording of a screen recording of a screen recording of a screen recording. They don't have to attribute you. I said in yesterday's live stream that really the whole purpose of TikTok is, in fact, the use of sounds and the unaccredited use of other people's intellectual property. We've also seen this with Fortnite, these like quote unquote Fortnite dances. These are other people's work, primarily Black people and primarily Black Americans' work that is via the internet and social media finding its way into the mainstream popular culture very rapidly, very, very rapidly at an extremely rapid pace. And again, this is it's not new. I'm not saying that Gen Z invented this because they didn't. Like somebody said during yesterday's live stream, it's serving got me in Cadillac, 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 you know, like going back to the race records, going back to Elvis Presley, going back to, you know, getting white cover artists, going back to the Beatles, going back to the Rolling Stones, having white cover artists do Black American music, rock and roll and sounds, even, you know, going back to ragtime, the first American original genre, which was created by a Black American, Scott Joplin, the entertainer. Which people don't know. That was created by Black Americans. Jazz, which was the first American high art form created by Black Americans, you know? And so now we have this accessibility issue where our culture is so accessible to everyone and everybody feels like they have a right, an entitlement to our culture, which I've done tons of videos on. I've done tons of playlists on. All of your faves on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter are stealing all my work. Like, it's really like, it's hard to even continue to talk about it because even within the social media and the social justice space, there's a theft problem of just like thievery, stealing work, infographics on Instagram, not accrediting, not giving sources, not saying where this came from, not saying where this terminology came from, not saying where these ideas came from. And I really feel like the normalization and the mainstreaming of lack of accreditation, you know, I feel like that really is related to the internet because like, back in the day, it was like you had to kind of go out of your way to bury shit. But a lot of shit did get buried. And now we're supposed to be in this era of like this racial reckoning and all that. And yet you still have people, these white girls getting invited on, you know, to perform at the NBA and to perform on late night talk shows. And while the Black creators are not getting anything, they're not getting paid, they're not getting their recognition, they're not getting their credit. And a lot of people keep asking me like, what can be done? What can be done? I really don't know. I said in yesterday's live stream, the only thing that I can think of is like maybe NFTs will make a difference, at least in the production of digital content. Truck outside. And somebody even said yesterday to that, though, that NFTs have a horrible impact on the environment, which is true as well. So even that is not really a long-term sustainable solution. I just feel like we need a cultural shift, which is what I've been trying to push for since 2017, 2018. We need a cultural shift that this type of thing is no longer seen as acceptable. Even if let's remove race out of it for a second. I've been watching Courtney Love go at the little sour girl, right? Talking about, you know, you're biting me. And people being like, you should just, this fucking phrase, imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. This phrase will not die. Imitation is not the most sincerest form of flattery when you have people that are making millions of dollars, making careers, getting book deals, getting television spots, getting endorsements, getting sponsorship opportunities, getting advertising revenue. Like, imitation is not the sincerest form of flattery when you have people that are imitating original content and ideas and getting fucking paid while the original user, you know, creator of that idea is not getting accredited, is not getting attributed, and is not getting paid for their work. And then it's really, but like in our current culture, it's really acceptable. It's acceptable to be like, well, they're paying homage. Well, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. You should be flattered. This was like an argument again, like with the Bruno Mars situation. Like, well, you should be flattered. You should be happy. Like, no, I'm not. I don't, like I said in my live stream video yesterday, I don't get a dopamine hit from a stranger making money off my work. What, like, does it even make sense? Like, does it even make sense? But in our cultural collective consciousness, there's this idea of like borrowing ideas is fine. Not having, you know, paying homage is fine. You know, not having to actually create original and authentic ideas and work, everything being a reheated, rehashed reboot of a remake of something from the 80s, something from the 90s, something that we've seen before. That's acceptable now. That's seen as the norm and the standard. And I feel like we need a cultural shift away from that. And that's also going to get me into like, and I think this is a driving force in why art is dying. I think, you know, I've done several videos now on feeling like, you know, like our video's dead, like why mainstream art sucks now. I have a video called, you know, that. And I think that the main reasons why we're seeing such a shift in our art culture, people are still making art, obviously. People are still making amazing, creative, authentic, unique, original art art. Like, obviously, not to say that people aren't doing that anymore, but most of what we do end up seeing elevated in the mainstream is stolen work, full stop. Stolen work, appropriated work, uncredited work, or nepotism in action, like Ellie Kemper. People that come from famous or well-connected families, or families that are already in entertainment and art and politics, families that are already wealthy so they can provide for you to go into art and things like that. So we have people that are not actually artists, that are not actually creatives, that are not, they're just there because they got their foot in the door through nepotism. And then you have other people that are just like pretty much stealing, and for one reason or another, they're deemed the more acceptable face of this idea or this concept, even though the work has been stolen. Like these white girls that are made the face of these TikTok dances. This is not just a TikTok problem. This is a problem across the board in social media, in art, in activism, and academia, of thievery, and also the suppression of authentic, unique, creative, and original ideas for nepotism and shit that is reheated just because people think that it's just going to make money. And I don't know how it stops, to be honest with you. Like, people keep asking me, how do I think it stops? How do I think it ends? What do I think we should do? And that's like really the tough part. Like, I really don't know. Like, I consider myself to be an artist. I create work. I guess like I still consider myself to be an activist, even though activist has become like a really watered down term, because like anybody can make an infographic using other people's work and throw it on Instagram nowadays and call themselves an activist. Anybody can put, Black Lives Matter in their fucking bio and call themselves an activist these days. And, as someone that creates art and, creates intellectual property, I write, and I do, I consider myself to be a philosopher, a cultural preservationist, urban agriculturist. I do food writing. I do so many different things. And I've seen my work get stolen as well. For me, I feel like I am a creative, so I always have more ideas, I always have more content. I kind of just like continuously keep on moving forward, and I remain on monetized platforms like here on YouTube, or if I write something, I get paid for it. If work that I do, I get paid for. I did also hear about this new Black owned platform, Fanbase, which is supposed to be monetized and aimed specifically at Black creatives as well. It's Black American owned. It's owned by Isaac Hayes III. So I'm going to look into that and possibly make a page over there as well. But it is hard. It's like you feel like all you can do is just keep creating. And I'm lucky because I have, been able to find a way to, because I've been here so long and people know me, that my face and my name and my personality and I'm attached to a lot of my work. And I know a lot of you guys, when you guys see my work getting fucking ganked, like y'all be right there in the comments like, this is Soren's work, stuff like that, which I appreciate. I see y'all. And for everybody that does support me on Patreon, for everybody that does support me on Cash App, for everybody that has supported me on GoFundMe, Super Chat, I appreciate you guys so much. And you guys make it possible for me to continue to create. But, I've been publicly, visibly in this space for 7 years. For people that are just trying to get in and get their foot in the door, it's a totally different game right now than it was 7 years ago. And it is hard because the theft does seem like it's out of control, and it does seem like it's only getting worse. A lot of you guys keep saying it seems like it's getting worse. It is getting worse. And I do feel like it's accelerating, like the speed at which Black American culture and ideology and ideas and creativity and artistic content and activism and academia and all that stuff is like being absorbed into the mainstream. I feel like it's speeding up, especially because of the internet and the social media and the amount of access that especially younger generations have, that they feel like, well, it's on the internet, so it belongs to everybody, which is not true. And I do feel like it is really playing a part in the way that we see the art going down, the way that we see the movies going down. The movies make more and more money, but the movies suck and nobody likes them. The music is going down. The videos are going down. Like, shit is going down because the actual real thinkers and creatives are being suppressed. And so I just wanted to make this video, follow-up video on it because, like I said, we talked about it during the live stream yesterday, and a lot of you guys brought up some very valid points and things that I've been thinking about as well. And it is tough. Like it's a tough space to be in right now. And again, I say that as somebody that's like fairly established in this space, and it's still like the theft is out of fucking control. So I just wanted to do this follow-up video discussing it a little bit more. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will include links, related videos in the description box. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.